Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Narrated Abu Hurairah radiallahu ta'ala anhu, Allah Apostle sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, a person is considered in prayer as long as he is waiting for the prayer in the mosque, as long as he does not do hadat. A non-Arab man asked, O Abu Hurairah radiallahu ta'ala anhu, what is hadat? I replied, it is the passing of wind from the anus. That is one of the type of hadat. Narrated Abbas bin Tamim, my uncle said, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, one should not leave his prayer unless he hears sound or smells something. Narrated Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu, I used to get emotional urethral discharge frequently, and I felt shy to ask Allah Apostle about it. So I requested al-Miqdad bin al-Aswad ask the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam about it. Al-Miqdad asked him and he replied, one has to perform ablution after it. Narrated Zaid bin Khalid radiallahu ta'ala anhu, I asked Usman bin Affan about a person who engaged in intercourse but did not discharge. Uthman replied, he should perform ablution like the one for an ordinary prayer, but he must wash his penis. Uthman added, I heard it from Allah Apostle sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I asked Ali az-Zubair, Talha and Ubay bin Ka'b about it, and they too gave the same reply. This order was cancelled later on, and taking a bath became necessary for such cases. Narrated Abu Sa'd al-Khidri radiallahu ta'ala anhu, Allah Apostle sent for an Ansari man who came with water dropping from his head. The Prophet ﷺ said, perhaps we have forced you to hurry up, haven't we? The Ansari replied, yes, Allah Apostle ﷺ. Further said, if you are forced to hurry up during intercourse or you do not discharge, then ablution is due on you. This order was cancelled later on. One has to take a bath. Narrated Usama bin Zaid radiallahu ta'ala anhu, when Allah Apostle sallallahu alaihi wasallam departed from Arafat, he turned towards a mountain pass where he answered the call of nature. After he had finished, I poured water and he performed ablution, and then I said to him, O Allah Apostle sallallahu alaihi wasallam, will you offer the prayer? He replied, the Musalla, place of prayer, is ahead of you in Muzdalifah. Narrated Al-Mughira bin Shoba, I was in company of Allah Apostle on one of the journey, and he went out to answer the call of nature. And after he finished, I poured water and he performed ablution. He washed his face, forearm, and passed his wet hand over his head and over the two cuffs. Socks made from thick fabric or leather. Narrated Abdullah bin Abbas radiallahu ta'ala anhu, that he stayed overnight in the house of Maimuna radiallahu ta'ala anha, the wife of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his aunt. He added, I lay on the bed while Allah Apostle sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his wife lay in the lengthwise direction of the cushion. Allah Apostle slept till the middle of the night, either a bit before or a bit after it, and then he woke up rubbing the traces of sleep off his face with his hand. He then recited the last 10 verses of Surah Al-Imran, got up and went to a hanging water skin, and then performed the ablution from it, and it was a perfect ablution, and then stood up to offer the prayer. I too got up and did as the Prophet ﷺ had done. Then I went and stood by his side. He placed his right hand on my head and caught my right ear and twisted it. He prayed 2 rakah and then 2 rakah and 2 rakah and then 2 rakah and then 2 rakah and then 2 rakat separately 6 times, and finally 1 rakah a witr. Then he lay down again in the bed till the muezzin came to him, whereupon the Prophet ﷺ got up, offered a 2 light rakat prayer, and went out and led the Fajr prayer. Narrated Asma binnat Abu Bakr, I came to Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha, the wife of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, during the solar eclipse. The people were standing and offering the prayer, and she was also praying. I asked her, what is wrong with the people? She beckoned with her hand toward the sky and said, Subhanallah. I asked her, is there a sign? She pointed out, yes. So I too stood for the prayer till I fell unconscious, and later on I poured water on my head. After the prayer, Allah Apostle sallallahu alaihi wasallam praised and glorified Allah and said, just now I have seen something which I have never saw before, and this place of mine, including paradise and hell. I have been inspired and have understood that you will be put to trial in your graves, and these trials will be like the trials of ad-Dajjal or nearly like it. The sub-narrator is not sure of what Asma said. Angels will come to every one of you and ask, what do you know about this man? A believer will reply, he is Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Allah's apostle, and he came to us with self-evident truth and guidance. So we accepted his teachings, believed and followed him. Then the angel will say to him, to sleep in peace, as they have come to know that he was a believer. On the other hand, a hypocrite or a doubtful person will reply, I do not know, but I heard the people saying something, and so I said the same. Narrated Yahya az-Zamani, a person asked Abdullah bin Zaid, who was the grandfather of Amr bin Yahya, can you show me how Allah Apostle sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to perform ablution? Abdullah bin Zaid replied in affirmative and asked for water. He poured it on his head and washed them twice. Then he rinsed his mouth thrice and washed his nose with water thrice by putting water in it and blowing it out. He washed his face thrice, and after that he washed his forearm up to the elbow twice, and then passed his wet hands over his head from its front to its back, and vice versa, beginning from the front and taking them to the back of his head up to the nape of the neck, and then brought them to the front again from where he had started, and washed his feet up to the ankles.